But good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to give a presentation on a negotiation that I participated in a few years ago back in Liberia. And so this is a quick structure of my presentation. I will give you a summary of the actual negotiation, and then I will run you through quickly an analysis of my strength and my weaknesses coming out of this negotiation. And then of course I will end up with some tips that you can use if you have a similar situation to negotiate in the future. So quickly, this was an intergroup, multi-party, multi-issue integrated negotiation that involved 4 parties. So we had the government of Liberia on one hand, we had the management of a rubber plantation on one hand, we had the workers' union on one hand, and then of course we had aggrieved workers who had gone on strike. So quickly, there were a group of workers, 1,360 workers, working at this plantation, rubber plantation in Liberia, and they had gone on strike for 3 days. And the situation started to become violent. By the end of the 3rd day, they started to have roadblocks, preventing the company's vehicles from flying through the plantation. And then, of course, they had made a further threat that by the 4th day, they were going to surround the company's office complex and prevent the senior management team, prevent the other staff from going to work. And so the government had to intervene very quickly. So I led a small team of technicians on behalf of the government to pretty much work with all of the parties that had a role to play in resolving the conflict with a mandate. And the mandate was work with the parties and negotiate a process that would see the workers return to work. So my team and I arrived at the plantation. The first thing I did was to have a meeting with the workers, because that was critical. So a meeting was held with the aggrieved workers, and they had a lot of issues to say. They had concerns they raised, and my team was able to take note of the issues they raised. And amongst them, in summary, they had an issue of salary arrears. The company was in arrears to them for 3 months. They had an issue with housing, poor housing. They had an issue with rain gears. They needed rain gears because it was raining and most of them were getting sick by working in the field. And after that, I had a separate meeting. My team and I had a separate meeting with the management. The management issue was, look, you know what? We're not prepared to sit around the table with the workers until they return to work. And then we had a separate meeting with the union. Now the union position was a little tricky. The union said, you know what? Our issue is we stand for whatever cost the workers have. Okay? The workers must be paid, the workers deserve better housing, etc., etc. But as we went ahead with the negotiation, I realized the union had a far more underlying interest in just the fact that they supported the workers. The union interest was in the dues, because the workers have been owed for 3 months, and on the workers' pay, from the workers' pay, there is a withholding that goes as due to the union. And so 3 months without pay also meant 3 months the workers' union had not received dues. And so during the engagement, I realized that the union had actually been the one instigating the workers, pushing the workers to the strike action. Okay, so after the different meetings were held, a bigger meeting was convened, and the intent of that meeting was to be able to summarize all of the issues that came from the different meetings. So I had the opportunity, my team and I had the opportunity to present a summary of the issues that came from the different meetings. And so during that meeting, we were able to brainstorm, which was a strategy that we used. We did some brainstorming, and the intent was to be able to find common ground, to find consensus around the different issues. And during the process of the negotiation, we were able to make concessions. All of the parties were able to make concessions along the way. And that process led us to an integrative solution that all of the parties were happy with. And the workers returned to work. As I move further in giving an analysis of what I figure out where my strength coming out of this negotiation, you get to understand a little more as well. So going into this negotiation with my team members, I I think what was a strength was clarity of task. We knew exactly what is it that needed to be done. The mission was negotiate with the parties and make sure the workers return to work. I think that was a strength going into this negotiation. Another thing that was a strength was my ability to be able to give voice to the anger of the workers. They were really, really angry. And just by listening and being patient, I could understand more than just the need for salary. I could understand just the need beyond the need for housing. They have core concerns about respect, appreciation, and being valued. That the role they were playing, the company didn't seem to really, show some appreciation. It was as if, well, we just have this contract between us, this, employer-employee relationship. But they thought they were contributing far more to the success of the company, and the company was not in a position to be able to recognize that. And so I was able to also flag that when we met at the bigger meeting. The company made a commitment to be able to address that. Relationship building was also critical for me going into this negotiation, because just by even explaining my story at some point in time, that I understood exactly what they were going through. It wasn't new to me as a person. My grandfather was a rubber tapper. He tapped on the plantation, another plantation. My father was born on at the rubber plantation, and so this was something I could connect to. If they said there was a family of 8 living in one room, that was something I experienced, so I could connect to that. So just by sharing my story, I was able to build a sort of relationship with the aggrieved workers, and I reassured them that as long as I was there, and again, maybe I would get a feedback from the prof, whether it was right, and to what extent it's important to share your personal story. But I assured them that as long as I was there, I was going to lead a process that would ensure that nobody took advantage of them. I think that was a strength. Again, it was easy to understand what the different issues were. I was able to use a carrot and stick strategy, but again, it did not occur to me that there was a whole theory on that until again I took the class. It happened intuitively. The union realized that the union was behind the entire action, and the union had a recertification review process going on back at our office. So I told them, look, you know why? If you don't support us in getting the workers back to work, I can assure you this, your review process might take a little longer. And it worked. They were able to join us, and even though it happened during a break time, but yeah. So again, that was there was an issue of mistrust. The workers didn't trust that the management would be able to commit to that, to what they said. Were able to handle that by getting a commitment from the management, and of course the issue of making concessions was very important. I think I could have done more framing during this negotiation, perhaps emphasizing more to the workers what they stood to lose if they had continued the strike action. They were going to have to lose their jobs. They were going to have to move if they continued the strike, because they said they would not go to work until all the demands are met. I didn't make much effort to understand the ZOPA of the other side, which is important, because if you know that, then you're in a position to be able to push them close to the reservation point. I didn't have a background, which was risky. If you enter a negotiation, you don't have an alternative, it's risky for you. Didn't do much with pre-negotiation planning. I could have emphasized more on long-term relationship with the workers. Tips for you to take away: if you have a similar negotiation, it's important that you always plan. Be aware that you will have to make some concessions along the way. Be aggressive and put your interests first. Up front, be a good listener, and always enter a negotiation of this kind from a position of strength. It's going to be very important for us as a government. I think leading this negotiation process was good, and it's always important if you have to work with people from different angles, enter the negotiation from a position of strength and know exactly what the interests of the different parties are. So I want to thank you so much. This is just me leading the team, group of workers. This is the house situation with the workers. They're tapping without years. Family need a salary to take care of the children. They were not being appreciated for the work and the role they play. Very difficult. Day 2, concluding the negotiation. This is the houses the workers, senior management is using. And I just want to thank you, Prof. You've made a difference. You may not know, but you've touched my life. And thank you also. I think taking this course was one of the best decisions ever. Thank you.
Wow.